హెల్త్ అనేది మనందరికీ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. అయినా దాంట్లోనే చూస్తే అండి మనం కొంచెం పక్షపాతం చూపిస్తామేమో కదా! హార్ట్‌కి సంబంధించిన ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వస్తే మనం దాన్ని సీరియస్‌గా తీసుకుంటాము. కళ్ళకేమైనా వస్తే మనం సీరియస్‌గా తీసుకుంటాము. పళ్ళకేమైనా వస్తే మనం సీరియస్‌గా తీసుకుంటాము. బట్ ఫర్ సమ్ రీజన్ ఏంటో తెలీదు. కాళ్ళకేమైనా వస్తే మటుకు దాన్ని మనము కొంత సీరియస్‌గా తీసుకోమేమో అన్నట్టు అనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఇవాళ ఫుట్ హెల్త్ ఎంత ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనే టాపిక్ మీద మనతో మాట్లాడడానికి మనము ఇవాళ ఒక ఫుడ్ కేర్ ఆఫీస్కి వచ్చాము. మనతో పాటు దాని గురించి మాట్లాడడానికి వీ హ్యావ్ Ms.Shaffu Sharma. Welcome to our show అండి.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And I'm sure our audience will be looking forward to hearing what you have to say about foot health. So first question, Shaffu garu, why is foot health so important అండి?
We do everything on our feet, right from standing, walking, anything, going places, playing sports. Everything is done on feet, and feet tend to be very neglected. They're very far away from the brain, so I repeat myself saying this many, many times during the day in my office, that feet are so far away from the brain that they have to make a lot of noise to be able to be heard. There has to be an immense amount of pain that they're in for us to pay any amount of attention to them. And it doesn't have to be that way. It really should not be that way. When they start to hurt a little bit, most of us try things, simple things at home, or maybe just ignore it for initially. And then it becomes moderately painful, and we think that maybe something should be done. But unfortunately, by the time I see people in my office, they're either in sharp amounts of pain or they're simply limping when they're coming in here to see us. And I would like to change that. The smallest amount of pain needs attention. Pain is a very good response that is built in our body. We call it the gift of pain. So when there is pain, the body's asking for attention. It's asking for help. And it is important for us to give it that help. That help can be given right away when the problem is a lot smaller, or we can wait for it to become a lot bigger. But the bigger problems then affect all the other joints as well. So our feet they are our foundation of our body. So they determine how we're going to walk, how we're going to place our knees above them, how our hips are going to respond to it, what is going to happen with the back.
Shaffu garu, అది మీరు ఓపెనింగ్ చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు. The feet are far away from the brain, and unless the feet make a lot of noise, the brain will not register the pain. That's a very it's funny but very factual, But I have one observation, and you just were mentioning that if the feet are not properly taken care of, it will affect the knees and it will affect the hip. How is that even possible?
Yeah, it's we're connected. So we're one body. So when the feet are placed on the ground, the knees follow the feet. The angle of initial contact, or how we place our foot to start our walk, is going to make the knees follow them. It's going to make the hips follow them. So there are lots of times actually that I see patients in my office who are sent by their physicians because they have knee pain, and it has all to do with the foot biomechanics. And once we look at the angles, and if we can give them a better angle, a lot of the times, unless there is some other arthritis or some other trauma to the knee, then that's a different story. But there is definitely an element of biomechanics that is associated with the knee function and the whole limb function.
So from మీరు చెప్పడం, based on what you said, the way the ankle is positioned, it will have a direct impact onto the knee.
That's right, yeah. It actually starts right from initial contact. As soon as we place that heel down on the floor and we start our walk, the angles start from right there, and that's biomechanics.
So it's possible that in many cases, if somebody has knee pain, it has nothing to do with the knee, it has more to do with the ankle?
That's right, yeah.
Wow. Wow, this is చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి. మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే నీ పెయిన్ ఉంటే, okay, we'll take treatment for the knee, but as Ms. Shaffu is mentioning, the knee is connected to the ankle, and in most cases, if the ankle is taken care of, the foot is taken care of, then maybe the knee pain would not be there. Ms. Shaffu, you were telling that it has also a connection with the hip. How is that, Andy? Is it the same principle?
Same principle. Our entire lower limbs, they're actually connected at the hip, and at the spine is attached to the same area. And then from there on, are basically, we get two legs. So we're attached all the way. There's that song, the knee bone's connected to the hip bone. So it's true, we are connected, and what happens at the foot or the ankle level affects what happens above. I often say, I compare our bodies to a building quite often, and I say, feet are our foundation. So when the foundation is being laid for a building, there's a lot of attention that is paid to that. And that's because the angle of that building is going to, or the stability of that building is going to depend on that. Same thing, it's no different. Our feet are our foundation.
I think, thank you, Ms. Shaffu. This is truly interesting because in general, like coming from the background where we come from, we neglect feet in general. Like,
we do, yes.
We think the heart is important, the eyes, the teeth, they are important,
yes.
But for some reason, when it comes to feet, we tend to neglect it. And now your very simple example that, like when you raise a building, you raise a foundation, and it's the same way for the human body. The feet are the foundation, and and if the feet is not in good shape, it can affect everything. It can affect the knees, it can affect the waist. That's an amazing perspective. I think this brief introduction would tell the audience that the importance of healthcare. So for all the youth who are watching this show, maybe some of you already know about it, but for those who are for those who you're hearing for the first time, you now know that there's a career in foot care also. So, and like Shaffuji was telling, seems to be a pretty rewarding career, and she has been in it for 25 years. Ms. Shaffu, I think I want to, on behalf of Sunshine TV, we want to thank you for the wonderful service you're doing to the community in terms of providing great foot care. And thank you for your time and explaining to our audience how important foot care is. I'm sure this will be very, very informative to a lot number of our audience. And it was a pleasure chatting with you.